All right, let's talk about Will Levis, who, we didn't get to see a ton from in this game. We saw more than I've made preseason videos about other players before of him. It was just kind of that weird situation with him and Malik Willis kind of splitting time. Feels like Malik Willis got more time. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for Levis. But as a whole, I thought this was a solid day. The statistics were solid, and I thought that he did some things I liked, some things I didn't like. And so let's get into it in the small sample size and maybe what that means for him going forward. So yeah, let's just jump into the film. Let's start off with this play. This was a good play. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a zone coverage play, and he's going to actually be in motion here. He's going to roll out towards the offense's right, so he's going to sort of be having to throw, a bit of a tough angle here. But given the concept, you see the route that I have circled in white. This is something that for sure could potentially get open as this play develops. So definitely something that Levis is going to look towards. Again, that's on paper how this is supposed to work. Is that supposed to get open? So Levis takes the snap. He rolls out in that direction. Fires wall on the move, and you could certainly argue multiple different ways. For one, this does appear to be a catchable ball right here. The other side of things is he probably didn't have to throw it this low. And at the end of the day, better to throw it a little low than a little high, right? Usually throwing it low doesn't result in interceptions. Throwing it high does. But I also wonder if this is just simply when you're throwing off balance, it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to get the ball down there. Obviously, Levis has the arm strength to do it, but again, it's more of a consistency thing and more of an accuracy thing is really what I'm trying to say. Not like he doesn't have the arm strength to throw off balance. More so when you throw off balance, sometimes the accuracy goes down a little bit. But also, as you see, it's a caught pass. Like, I'm not freaking out about it. Maybe that's where he was even trying to put it. I don't know. But you could argue both sides of that one. So I'll let you be the judge. I could see it either way. There were definitely some preseason layups that he was able to hit in this one, like something like this. It's going to be zone coverage. You have a receiver who's going to try and get a gap in coverage. You see kind of where on the field this could potentially get open. Watch as Levis takes the snap. He is going to fire in that direction. And look at this. There's no one even close right here. This is the throw that Levis has to make. But again, I'll give Levis some credit in that, hey, yes, this is easy, but you know what? It's still important to find the open guy, and it's still important to hit the open guy, even if they are wide open. Levis does, in fact, make that throw. Again, you could argue that's a little bit low right there. You could certainly make that argument, although, I don't know. I think he maybe just thought the receiver was going to stop earlier as well. I'd probably assume that was more of a very slight miscommunication thing than just a missed throw. That would be my assumption. Although I do want to mention there were just some straight up missed throws. Again, something that people have brought up, one of the negatives people had with Will Levis is sort of his inconsistent accuracy, and that was definitely something that we saw. Like, this play is a perfect example where it's going to be a very simple play. It's just going to be a quick wide receiver screen pass. Simple enough, right? Okay, screen passes. These are easy. How can you mess up a screen pass if you're a quarterback? Well, Levis takes the snap right here, and again, you could maybe argue he thought the receiver was going to, run further back, but even if he did, that's still a low throw. That was a misfire from Levis in a very easy situation. That was a layup that he missed right there. There's really no other way to describe it. But I did see some things I liked from Levis that weren't just the easiest things in the world. I'm going to be honest, this still isn't the highest degree of difficulty play, but it's still something that he showed me something that I was impressed with, where it's going to be zone coverage, and you have a receiver running a route that's going to be underneath the zone, and given the fact that it's a 3rd down and 1 situation, okay, fire the ball here, let's see what we can do. Levis takes the snap, he looks in that direction, and yeah, it's wide open. This is an easy potential completion, but Levis is doing something very smart here, which if you see him, he's already in the throwing motion. That's what you want. Again, him seeing this and making the throw is not the difficult thing. How quickly you do it is what will get me somewhat impressed or disappointed. Is if it takes you too long, I'll be disappointed. If you do it quickly, I will be impressed. Levis makes this throw quickly. It actually ends up getting knocked out and was a fumble, so maybe it would have been better if he didn't. But obviously, he did the right thing there. A good job by Will Levis, and these are definitely the kind of things that, a lot of young quarterbacks sometimes hold on to the ball for too long, don't get rid of the ball as fast as they should. Typically, the quarterbacks that, make it, especially if, he wasn't the 1st round pick, so might not have the time to, get good that someone like Richardson might. You're going to have to get good in a hurry, and one of the ways you can do that is get that decision-making down quickly and being in a position where you can throw the ball quickly. And, so far, so good for Levis. As in, at least, on this play, so far, so good. This next play, I hesitated if I even wanted to put it in the video, because I think some people will say that this is not a fair criticism and a nitpick, and I'm not even sure if I fully myself feel like it's a criticism, but let's just talk about the play, and I'll bring up why I wanted to include it, because, Will Levis, one of the other criticisms he got coming out of college was not necessarily the best pocket presence. He would sometimes take some hits that were unnecessary or just not realize pressure is coming, and that's going to happen here, although, there's certainly an explanation for it. Watch how on this play he runs a play action, and, there's going to be pressure on his blind side right here, which I think many people would say, well, yeah, how's he supposed to know that this is happening? He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, which is a totally reasonable thing to say. Although I would also bring up how long into this play we currently are. We're 3.5 seconds into the play. Now, there was a play action, but still, you do kind of have to be aware of your surroundings a little bit, knowing that if you're holding on to the ball for 3.5 seconds, pressure could come, and if he noticed this pressure, he could easily step up in the pocket and have plenty more time to throw the football. He does not and ends up getting clobbered instead. So is this a big deal? I don't know. Maybe it's just, hey, it was you thought you would have more time given to play action and then it came on your blind side. But I do have to say, the best quarterbacks in the league find ways to figure this stuff out. They don't take these kind of hits. They realize when it's happening and then find a way to get around it. So I think it's reasonable to bring all of that stuff up. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Will Levis. Was this a promising performance? I don't think I'd call it promising. I wouldn't call it a bad performance either. It was just kind of a fine performance where he wasn't really asked to do a ton, maybe made a couple of mistakes here and there, and also made a couple of solid plays here and there, but just never really got the opportunity to, I think, really showcase what he can do well or what he can do poorly, I think. But we saw some things, and that's kind of what I thought about his performance in this one. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on Will Levis and what we've seen of him. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Will Levis? Maybe I'll make a video about Malik Willis in the future. We'll see how this one does numbers-wise, and if it does well, maybe I'll make the Malik Willis one. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.